did not recess yesterday, so we are still in an official meeting in case we need to take some official action. Thank you all for being here. Mr. Matt, it's your program.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Well, thank you again for joining us today for our 10 o'clock update. We do have some important details to pass along, and want to check with those sections that we had prized last night that we need updates from. As of the 10 o'clock update from the Hurricane Center, hot off the presses, Storm Hurricane Ida is still Category 1. It's located approximately 350 miles south-southeast of the mouth of the Mississippi River. Max sustained winds are currently 85 miles an hour, and it's moving northwest at 16 miles an hour, which is pretty quickly. We are expecting the storm to continue northwest and intensify with landfall in coastal Louisiana, as you can see on the map here for the center line of the track, where of course the eye will be located. However, there are going to be hazards well away from the center of this storm, and on the east side where we are expected to be, Harrison County is expecting storm surge up to 12 feet once you include the high tide on top of the 7 to 11 that is forecast for us. 12 feet for the storm surge is forecast. We are expecting winds gusting to hurricane intensity, and we are expecting heavy rainfall, up to 16 inches of rainfall. And that's on top of the heavy rain we had yesterday and more rain expected today. And so flooding is going to be a concern with Hurricane Ida. So both flooding along the coast as well as inland. So with that,
Recording in progress.
with that situation update, let's go ahead and go now to our city liaisons for their update. Biloxi.
Yes, sir. Nothing extremely new to report. Everything's in place. We've got our personnel notified that are going to come in to up our staffing for tomorrow. That should start relatively between 6 and 7 in the morning. We moved based on MDOT's recommendation for the bridges, for especially I-110. We went ahead and moved up our harbor closings from 3 to about noon to get everybody through and in time to where nobody got trapped on the outside. We've got pretty much everything else in place and ready to go.
All right, thank you, Nick. Let's go next to D'Iberville for their update.
Sir, this is Dewan with D'Iberville. I have nothing new to report right now. City's done pretty well at making sure we're prepared and waiting to see officially what's going to happen with this storm. I still know there's a lot of time left that changes can happen. So we've got everything in place and we're just waiting for it.
All right, thank you, Dewan. Let's go next to Gulfport, please.
Our harbor.
Thomas before.
Okay, go ahead, Thomas. Go ahead, Thomas.
Couldn't find my unmute button on this iPad, my bad. Anyway, Gulfport Public Works report sandbag station's still open. There's crews out cleaning ditches and pre-storm removal in effect with our contractors. Police and fire up and ready to go with all assets hardened, staffing notified. Harbor reports about 30 boats remaining.
30 boats remain. Okay. Anything else, Gulfport?
No, sir.
All right. Long Beach.
Good morning. Nothing really new to report here either. We brought some additional personnel in yesterday to help. Probably going to bring some more in the morning, but other than that, we're ready to go as much as we can be.
All right, thank you. Pass Christian.
Yes, Matt, this is Dwight. We have nothing new to report. We're still working our plan as always. Most everything we will have will be pulled, either electrical or water will be pulled by the end of the day. And our additional personnel, we're still waiting on the exact time when to bring them in, but we're going to bring them in, hopefully pre-hazard. So other than that, nothing to report. Our sandbags are still up and running and getting used. And we have heavy traffic on 90, as I'm sure everybody else does.
All right, thank you, Dwight. For all of our city liaisons, I've only received one of your pod confirmations, so 4 of the cities, I still need your confirmations of your pods in case we do need to activate those after the storm. Please get those to me by noon. All right, over next to...
You don't have those review on Fort Matt, I'll review that with you when we finish this stuff.
Thank you, Mike, appreciate that. All right, operations section.
Can y'all hear me? Good
Yes,
morning.
we've got you.
All right, on the operations side, we've been attention prepared. All the equipment has been staged. Manpower is ready, doing some final preparations for buildings. What we have seen is a large influx this morning on the sandbag pile locations. We went through about 30,000 bags so far this morning. Portage Bridge, we've seen 76 boats through there since yesterday. 3 o'clock today, we will pull the gates off the bridge and lock it down. Also, what we're seeing is a high influx on I-110 with the traffic branching off on Kill to Lil roads, Minge Avenue, that type of stuff. So we need to look at traffic problems on our county roads due to I-10. Also, we will be securing the Deiville testing site, the COVID testing site, at 12 o'clock noon today. If anybody has anything for operations, please get a hold of us. We have made a last effort push to the cities to see if they have any needs. You have a couple cities that's on their way to get more sandbags, so that's where operations is right now. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Tim. Appreciate that and everything operations is doing. Logistics.
Chuck Walters, Logistics. I don't know of any unmet needs at this time on our 2 sandbag locations. At the present time, we're bringing more sand to the one in Long Beach and at Courthouse Road. We just dropped off another 2,000 bags at Courthouse, another 2,000 at Long Beach. I believe Long Beach is going to close their gates to the harbor this afternoon, so that operation, sandbag operation, will be shut down probably later on this afternoon, but Courthouse will stay open. On the beach side, all the vendors are off, all garbage cans are off, everything is secure that way. But like Pastor Sheehan said, Highway 90 westbound is getting bumper to bumper. A lot of traffic from Louisiana is heading eastbound, eastbound on 90, going towards Alabama. So if anybody needs to get out and about, please be aware of 90's getting gridlocked just like I-10. That's all I have on logistics.
All right, thank you, Chuck. And I do know we have a couple of pending requests to the state and WebEOC. Please keep us apprised as those continue to make their way through.
Chuck, are all the beach vendors gone? Because I saw one out there this morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, there was only one there at Edgewater Mall, and he should have everything off by noon.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Logistics. Appreciate everything that you're doing. All right, let's go now to our emergency support functions. We'll move on to ESF1 transportation. Do we have MDOT with us?
Yeah, MDOT's here. Our forces have been out this morning lowering some additional lights along the I-10 corridor. At 12 noon, we will pull the traffic controllers off of Highway 90 starting on the Bay St. Louis side and work our way all the way across Harrison County towards Biloxi. That's going to take us about 3.5 hours to pull those controllers out. Simultaneously, at right about noon or shortly thereafter, we will begin locking those bridges down at I-110 and Highway 605 Wilkes Bridge, Highway 609 Fort Bayou Bridge. As previously mentioned, there is a lot of traffic right now on 10 and Interstate 59. New Orleans City has issued some evacuation orders, and I don't think people heeded the orders yesterday to go ahead and get out last night. So you're going to see continued traffic demand, especially on those 2 routes. And MDOT's EOC for the district, we will man it beginning tomorrow morning early, around 6 a.m. And we will start updating our maps on closures as the storm comes in and effectively closes the routes down due to flooding.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate all that good information. Next, we have Coast Transit Authority.
Hey, Kevin Zinke here, Matt. We're going to be running regular fixed route bus service today through 7:30 to give everybody time to help their employers get squared away and the community to go out and get their personal items and get back in. We're going to be running shelter transportation from 3 to 7. That gives us 4 hours to move everybody. Understand you're opening some shelters at 3 and a few more after 3. I'll need to know what the timing of those is. You can have somebody send me that, which ones are opening at 3 and which ones are opening later. We are only going to bring people to the 5361 shelters for the obvious reason. And I also need to verify which one is going to be the pet shelter. So if you can have Kimberly or somebody coordinate that with me. Right now, we have 75 to 100 pre-registered. I'm anticipating after your press release goes out, our phone's probably going to start ringing off the hook. But we're prepared to do whatever we need to do to get everybody squared away. Last thing I have, Marty Miller will be in the EOC at the ESF 1 desk from 3 o'clock this afternoon till 7 and can stay later if need be. And I sent you all my personal cell phone number, which is not on your contact list. Feel free to put that on the EOC contact list, and anybody call me anytime I can do anything to help. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. And we're going to have some more on the ESF 6 discussion and some of the questions that you had. All right, please go ahead and mute your microphones. That's a *6 on your phone to mute, or push the button on the app. All right, ESF 3, engineering, Jackie Turner. I know we've got a couple of generators we're still working to get any updates from engineering.
Yes, this is Jackie Turner with engineering. We have all of our personnel staged and ready to respond with both bridge inspections and with debris operations after the storm, and we are continuing to work generators. I guess, please just keep in touch with the status of any issues. Make sure that we are fully aware, and we'll keep working them.
All right, thank you, Jackie. ESF 4, fire, and let's talk 9, search and rescue as well.
All right, I've checked with all the fire departments. They're all ready to go. Biloxi, Gulfport, and ourselves are bringing in some additional personnel that I think we're as good as we can get under the circumstances. So no outstanding needs from any of the departments that I checked with.
You still need generators.
Yeah, now on the generator for us, for our particular department, yeah, we're still down that, but we're working that. We will be talking to MEMA after they get here and go from there. Yes, ma'am.
Did our work center on Lorraine, did Timmy get the generator he was needing yesterday? Okay.
He got his generator?
He did. Sorry, Pat, we like him more now.
He found
Okay.
one for rent.
Yeah, that we're still working that, so that's fine. Do you want to go right into the 9?
Yes, please.
All right. In the search and rescue component of it is that everybody's standing up high water vehicles. The Sheriff's Department, the City of Gulfport, Biloxi, Commissioner Tyndall is in the room, and he's been in the room, so I'm certain that the state's on top of it if we need something, that's just a matter of a request in a moment, and we can get stuff moved down. So it's all good. All good.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. ESF 6, mass care. Do we have Red Cross with us?
Get off mute. Aaron, you on?
We got you, John. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just checking to see if Aaron was on. Yeah, we've got teams in place for the 3 shelters that will open at 3 o'clock, and also a team ready to open the Iberville. And then we've got people flying in to handle the other 2 shelters that are due to open at 6 o'clock. and we're checking now to confirm what time they'll be here.
All right, John?
Hey, John, can you say again which ones are opening at 3, please?
The 361 shelters, the County Farm, Blue Boy, and Social Lizana, and then those are 3, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's correct. LaBoy Road, County Farm Road near the fairgrounds, and Social Lizana all slated to open at 3. You also said your team will be ready at 3 at D'Iberville High as well, John?
Yeah, they'll be there early. You're opening it at 6, but they'll be here, or they'll be ready early.
Okay, and then the 6 o'clock shelters slated to open are D'Iberville High School then, West Harrison High School, and Harrison Central High School. Now, of those 6 shelters, we have worked arrangements to have pet sheltering nearby, though not in the shelter with the people, at Harrison Central High School and at County Farm Road. And so there will be areas for pets within walking distance. Owners need to bring crates, and we'll put out public guidance on that.
Okay, great.
Matt, question for Sergeant Amy from SROs. I guess Captain Rose also, we want to know what guidelines or what guidance do they need as far as COVID restrictions in the shelter?
Yeah, John, if you could speak to the expectations for masks and so forth in the shelters?
Yes, we will have masks, but we are expecting everyone to be masked in the shelter. Obviously, if they refuse to do it, we're not going to throw them out, but we will try to keep them segregated from everybody else. That's going to be a challenge.
It is. And hand sanitizer.
Yes, and we do have, we have PPE.
Yes, we've got full PPE for the shelters. Sanitizers, wipes, sprays, and like I said, masks. And we're just hoping people will all use some common sense to wear it.
And you're
also, the schools have some cots for the schools, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Rupert's saying yeah.
Limited numbers.
Limited numbers.
Right, and we don't put cots out, only for people, as an evacuation shelter, we don't put cots out for obvious reasons.
At least 12.
So, but we want to make sure that there are some cots in the shelter in case somebody absolutely has to have one.
So Matt, I suggest you get an inventory, or get an inventory of them.
Yes, that's part of the normal startup process. Absolutely, yes, ma'am. All right. Any other questions on shelters before we move on? Very good. ESF 8, medical.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Thank you all, Harrison County ESF 8. All facilities are at full operation as of this morning at 7:30. The oxygen concern that we had yesterday, we addressed it with the air gas. Everything's good. All the hospitals are good. The special needs medical shelter is opening at noon today. You guys put out that press release. I'm surprised they sent that out to the public with the address and the phone number, but it is what it is. There's a handful of patients that AMR reported that they've moved locally to different locations, not to hospitals, but just to different residences that are medical needs patients just wanting to move to what they consider a better place. Waiting on word from AMR as well on their need for additional ambulances to handle the out-of-town transport. Some of the hospitals are trying to send patients from here to Jackson, Vicksburg. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me at this point, but we're working through that. And also coordinating with Hancock County as well, since it's the same agency. Not really my responsibility, but coordinating the assets here to make sure that we take care of those folks as well. We have engaged the Life Flight teams to fly out the patients that we need to fly out while the weather is good enough for them to fly, so we're coordinating that. But right now, we're just watching and waiting just like everybody else. Charles asked me to report AMR is bringing in additional staff now. They made a total recall of their full-time off-duty employees, so they're going to put up as many trucks as they can put up.
All right. I know they're already quite busy, but every day helps. Ma'am.
Get with the hospitals, almost hourly.
Okay, thank you. Are they holding up well?
You know, all facilities are in full operation.
No decompression, except
No, ma'am.
the ones mentioned.
There's, and in prior storms, that was an option. Right now, it's just not an option. But they're struggling to find the 3 patients that are being moved from Harrison County. They have to be moved now or they're going to lose their bed. That's how tight beds are across the state. It's terrible situation, but just deal with it.
All right, thank you, Greg. ESF 13, public safety, do we have the sheriff or his representative?
Yeah, Matt, I'm here. No unmet need this time. We're ready to go. Just waiting for any updates we get after this afternoon.
Okay, sir, and I know you were going to be speaking with different jurisdictions about curfew. Was there anything you wanted to share on that, sir?
No, our meeting's at 1. The original meeting for this was at 2, so I set it up to be able to tell y'all at 2 what's going on, but no, we'll meet at 1, and after that, I'll call you back and let you know, and you can put the information out.
All right, sir. Thank you for that, and thank you for everything that sheriff and all law enforcement are doing.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, that takes us through the rotation then. We are slated for a 4:30 p.m. update this afternoon. So we will reconvene by Zoom at 4:30, and that will allow us then to get all of the final checks as we head into the evening hours tonight, as we expect deteriorating conditions. The water is going to be coming up tonight. That southerly winds is pushing already up onto the coast. So waters will be rising tonight along the coast. In the morning, early morning hours, we do expect the rain to begin and the winds to pick up. So from tonight on, we're going to be going into it.
Let me ask, Representative Felsher's here. Do you have an update on the proclamation from the governor?
I believe it's supposed to be released at around 2 p.m., right? About 2 p.m. today.
Okay. And I'm asking the board now, are y'all interested in maybe doing a evacuation recommendation of low-lying areas? Go ahead and recommend that now.
That would be my recommendation, yes,
This is
ma'am.
going to hit at high tide, so it'd be the low-lying areas around the creeks, rivers, bayous, places that typically flood. The other thing I'd like to ask the board, do we want to go ahead and do a motion to close the sand beach itself? I saw this morning some, what do they call the kite flyers, the surfers?
Thrill seekers.
Windsurfers.
So are y'all open to that? Do we have a motion to close the?
Yeah, I'll
sand
make a
beach?
motion to close the sand beach
Second.
for safety.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. We do not need a motion for the evacuation recommendation. The curfew was suggested midnight to 7, but what do y'all think, or is it necessary?
What do you think? Law enforcement, sheriff, what do you think?
Law enforcement, before I now talk to us about that. They feel like it's.
We've got a meeting this afternoon set. I think it needs to be a curfew for all of Harrison County. The last time this was done, there was a recommendation by the board or whoever made it, and all the cities didn't follow along with it. So what we're going to try to do is get one curfew for the whole county. That way it's easier on law enforcement to do their job during the storm.
Yeah, because the cities all had different times, I remember last time, so. Okay, the other thing is the hotels. I spoke with the Hotel Association this morning. Most all the casino properties are shutting down by 8 o'clock tonight, including their hotels. So there are still several non-gaming properties that are running about 70% occupancy, but they're getting more and more cancellations. I expect that we'll get some evacuees to replace some of those that have canceled with the hotels. But I don't think you had talked to Dave Kingman. It's not a mandatory closure, but they're all doing it. All the casinos are closing, to my knowledge. You have a list. Matt has a list.
Yes, that's correct, Pam. So we've got a list of, it's probably close to 10 to 12 that Dave Kingman had sent me, and they are all slated to close by 8 p.m., as you said.
Can I ask this question? I guess it's to Matt. With the influx we're getting from Louisiana, the closing of the hotels for our shelters, is that going to be a residency thing? Is there any talk have been given about residency for shelters are not our capacity, that we had that.
Proof of residency is not normally something that's checked at the shelter. I do understand what you're saying, Pat. We have plans to activate more shelters of refuge if needed, but I think the 6 will be okay for now.
All right. And we have a number, have we put a number on those shelters as far as what our capacity is going to be? Because that's going to come up through law enforcement, and have you thought about that yet? Or?
We do have a number, yes, and that was conveyed to the board yesterday.
It's the same numbers that we put together last season, right?
Right.
Okay, is that the number that's posted on WebEOC by the shelters?
No, I'm not sure what's on WebEOC. I know that on the spreadsheets that we put together with the staffing and the needs, I know that there was consideration for the 10 square feet per person.
Right, yes, it includes distancing for COVID, correct. All right.
So
Okay.
it's definitely first come, first serve.
Got it.
Basically. Okay, what else? Mr. Ladner? Ms. Rocco?
Just want everybody to be safe, and thank you all for coming in on Saturday. I know it was an inconvenience, but we appreciate you.
Mr. Jones?
4:30 is the next one. 4:30 update today, yes, sir.
Nothing really. Thanks to everyone.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Could we do, could I recommend to the board that we do a motion to amend the declaration of emergency and then include in that one order the various things the board wants to do rather than separating it as we've done, so that we can do an amended declaration of emergency? And I heard somebody mention a curfew. I didn't hear whether the board agreed with that.
We have not yet. We're waiting on a suggestion, a suggested time.
So a motion to amend the previous declaration of emergency done yesterday and then include in it what the board wants to include in that order, so that we have one order we can send out. The only thing that the board cannot do is close the elected officials, the circuit clerk and the chancery clerk have to stay open, and the other elected official have to stay open unless the governor declares an emergency.
Well, the only thing the board did was vote to close the beach. That's all we've done.
Yes, no, the board can close the beach. The board can close all county departments other than the elected officials. And that has to do with statute of limitations and filings and things of that. They have to stay, they make that decision on the board.
I would recommend the decision on Monday closures defer till tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not gonna make that decision today, Tim. We'll wait and see.
Okay.
Because we may need all hands on deck on Monday, so
Tim,
we don't have to.
Madam President, Tim, we opened some shelters, and we put time limits on other shelters when they would be open. Should we put that in the declaration, or is that not necessary?
I don't think that's necessary with the declaration. You can if you choose to, but I don't think that's necessary for the declaration. Tricia's listening and I'm listening. I'm having a hard time hearing everything, so somebody needs to give us a list of what you want in the order so that we can do an amended order. She's trying to write it down, I know.
The only thing right now that we've done is close the beach. That's it.
Just close the beach, no curfew. We can, if the board can recess and do that later.
And we're doing a recommended evacuation of low-lying areas, but it's not mandatory. It's recommended.
Okay.
And what time are we putting on that? 6 p.m. tonight would be is that what you said, 6?
Yes.
Okay.
6 to 7, somewhere around in there. Okay. But they can do it now. Start now.
So anytime you'd like.
The only thing I was going to say
All the
is
shelters will be open by 6.
By 6.
when we're talking about evacuations, mass evacuations, we've heard in the past people break down, they run out of gas. What type, I know the sheriff, I know we have a helicopter. Besides MDOT, who tells the public where the bad traffic is? Am I making sense? I think there are times there are back roads and things that people could be doing because a lot of times people will be injured and, as you know, stuck in evacuation traffic. Do we have any plan? Who does that?
The highways, it's MDOT.
Highway departments.
And then Tim Smith just gave us a report on some county roads.
Right.
That are high traffic areas because of interstates.
Right, but I mean, as it's happening, I almost wish we could have, because in the past we've seen, we wish we could have am I making sense? I'm kind of up to date. This is a bad area, go a different route.
If I may.
Rupert? Yeah, please. Johnny?
Department of Public Safety and MHP in particular will use social media to update alternative traffic routes that might be available at different times, especially as the storm's getting near and near. If I-10's backed up, we will push it out through other means, possible routes that folks can take.
Public radio also will put it on if you'll dial down on the AM side. They'll push that out as press releases go out. They'll push it out over the airwaves. TV with this won't be good because of digital systems, but AM, FM radio is a backup to get those emergency messages. And it's going to affect the cell phone coverage. So the more people talk, the more bandwidth it's used, the more electronic texting, that too eats up bandwidth and messaging will be slower.
And down to getting further into weeds to what you're talking about is our units, the Sheriff's Department units and the county fire units and cities, I think, will be getting back to the EOC of road closures as soon as we know that the road closure. We're calling our dispatch saying this road is now closed. It goes to the road department to get signage, and so that's being tracked and being given to EOC. And so that addresses your issue of real time trying to get out the word of what roads are closed and which roads aren't. You have a valid point because most of us know that during any one storm, certain roads are going to close. It's just automatic. Bell's Ferry, you know, we just the normal stuff that we do, but the outside people don't, and that's problematic. So we are all trying to address that as we go along on a minute by minute basis.
Most of the traffic is on I-10, it's coming from New Orleans. I noticed this morning.
I know, I just wish we literally had a bird's eye view. I mean, I get MDOT High Patrol, you're on the ground looking around, oh, there's traffic here, but wouldn't it be nice to have a bird's eye view of actually where it is? That's all I'm suggesting, but.
Yep, MDOT is putting that out, and it's on the big bulletin boards on the major highways right now.
Okay.
We have mapping here.
Yeah, MDOT's, this is MDOT. MDOT's website has all that. In fact, it's color coded based on the traffic demand that's out there. When you see a red line on the map, that means it's severe congestion. Black line means it's stopped. Yellow line means that there's, backup congestion occurring. Green means it's going. So all of those maps are online, and you can see those currently through our MS traffic site. And all that information is shared.
There's also an app that you can download and watch the traffic on I-10 and other major roads.
But not when you do it.
Yeah.
Matt, recap real quick. Expected time and day of landfall, wind speed, and what we can expect in there.
Yes, ma'am. Just to recap again, what we're expecting as we go into the evening hours tonight. I do expect the waters to start coming up with those southerly winds along the coast tonight. So it's not going to be that peak surge yet. That will be on Sunday. That peak surge will be on Sunday. High tide is early morning, like 4 a.m. But the winds are going to be continuing and pushing that surge throughout Sunday afternoon and evening. The winds will also be continuing through the day and into the evening hours on Sunday. Rainfall is going to be all day Sunday and into Monday. And we are going to have flooding issues going into Sunday night and into Monday when the rivers start rising. We have those river flood warnings already out. We know that the rivers are going to get high. And that'll lead into the road closures and some of the other discussions. So it's going to be a complicated few days coming up.
So the wind system is tomorrow.
Winds will be, I think the last I saw from the Hurricane Center, they expected the onset of tropical storm force winds tomorrow morning, like 8, 9 a.m., something like that. But rain's going to start in advance of that.
So we're going to reconvene about 4:30, or that'll be your next update?
Yes, 4:30, yes, ma'am. And we would have then the recommendation for curfew and other things there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we'll see you.
Matt, this is Dwight.
Go ahead, Pastor Christian.
Hey, can you make sure when you do your press releases that we receive those through email too, so we can just push them straight to our website, please? Especially some of the stuff on the shelters and that kind of thing.
Yeah, will do. I'll make sure it gets to each of the cities.
And it may come from Kimberly Compton, so they need to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, look for email from me, but Kim Compton, our PIO, is also pushing information out.
And Kim, push that link for MDOT for the real-time evacuation around traffic, that'd be great. So I didn't even know that, we have that.
Madam President? It's also, if, would like to recognize the fact that we have, 2 elected officials here, and they please stand up and, Madam President, you can introduce them.
We have one elected official.
One elected and one appointed, second. One former. Thank you. Thank y'all for coming, we appreciate it.
Okay, we'll see you about.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank